Siege is a game that isn't for everyone and may not be for you. And yeah, I know I'm a Siege YouTuber and all my content centers around Siege, so saying that it may not be for you is self-sabotaging, but hear me out. Before I get into more detail, a little context. I come from a background of competitiveness. As a super tall dude, 6'7", I grew up playing basketball. My room was covered in basketball posters, I collected basketball cards, I brought a basketball everywhere I went, on vacation, to any social activities. I pretty much had a basketball with me. And I would always watch my precious Boston Celtics whenever I could. Larry Bird was the man. Now, as much as I lived, breathed, and played basketball, I learned the hard way that I wasn't practicing enough and working hard enough, and my dreams of playing professionally died. Towards the end of my career, basketball wasn't a positive thing in my life like it had been previously, and it became toxic. It started affecting my daily mood, and I began to lash out at friends, family, and especially teammates. Once I realized what the cause of my toxicity was, I quit, and I never looked back. But my competitive nature that I grew through basketball followed me to other activities. Now, I know you don't watch me for basketball stories, so with that being done, I'll bring this around to the main point. The point is that with my competitive being passed on to video games, and I always played games like FPS, but a lot of them didn't have competitive aspects to them. It was just, you go to a match and they're done. I got into the competitive side of things heavily when I started to play Street Fighter 4. Chun-Li main, at me if you want some lightning legs of your faces. But when I found Siege and the competitive aspect to it and the ranked, I realized that I could do so much more. And hence the YouTube channel, Twitch, multiple projects that I'll be spawning over the next couple of years. Also, follow me on Twitter at Jpeasy Gaming to follow my career with great interest. But what I realized through this journey is that other people do not always share the same mindset that I do. And while that seems like a no-brainer, like duh, of course, you have different backgrounds, life experiences, and goals than I do, therefore your tolerance for the hard work and dedication that is required to be at your best at something may very well vary from what mine is. I've gotten asked on many occasions on how much I practice, aka how much I do T-Hunt. And if I've had more free time and could choose the time that I would practice, I'd be doing T-Hunts for at least 2 hours prior to a game session. Now, I don't do that because I have a wife, a daughter, and a big fluffy monster that need my attention, so my practice times are limited. But if I was going to push and try to be in the competitive, I would be grinding the practice out. Because if you want to be the very best that you possibly can, like no one ever was, and you have the time to invest in it, then work. Put your head down and grind, because that's the only way to be successful at anything. I mean, if you only care a little bit and only practice a little bit, then just don't get salty when you're getting slapped and ranked. Many people will work harder than you and either accept it and enjoy the competitive nature casually, or like what happened to my story of basketball towards the end, have it become toxic. So if Siege does become toxic for you and you are constantly pissed when playing, and just because you're not at the level that you think you should be, maybe it's time to step away. Whether or not be, a minimum a break. Like hell, just recently I went through and played through Jedi Fallen Order like the giant nerd I am and loved it to death. It felt great going through just an epic Star Wars story, swinging my lightsaber around and force pushing stormtroopers off of ledges. Some good old-fashioned escapism. It was a good reset for my brain. But if that isn't enough and you're still unhappy when you come back to Siege, that maybe Siege or competitive games in general isn't for you. I know games like League of Legends have very strict reputations for being toxic. Don't let Siege be that thing for you. Find a game or activity you enjoy and play and do more of that, regardless of what it is. Well, except for Fortnite. Fortnite bad, okay? Basically, the main goal and the main point of this is to be happy, dudes. Like, enjoy the way you spend your free time. Life is short in the long run. If you have goals and you want them to become reality, work your ass off, but enjoy that work as well. Enjoy the grind, because you have to get to that point. You have to get to the level of success that you're going to want to be at. You're going to have to enjoy that process as well. Immerse yourself in that process and it'll become enjoyable and it'll become something that you can grow from. So I think that's enough of my rant for today. I hope you found value, and if you're sticking around Siege, I will see you next week. As always, my name is Jpeasy. Take it easy.